What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome into the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham. Hope everybody is having a fantastic weekend. On today's show, going to take a look at 5 potential trade targets for KC at a couple of positions of need if they want to bolster that spot. We know Brett Veach is always an aggressive-minded GM, so we'll have to wait and see what he does this offseason. Before we get to the first player, name a player that you think the Chiefs should go and trade for. Just drop his name down in the comment section. It could be a player on offense, defense, doesn't matter to me. Name a player you would like to see the Chiefs trade for. I think I'm going to be seeing a lot of DeAndre Hopkins comments down below because he's been linked to Kansas City. We know he's available, and he's a player that would help this football team. Again, this is a bona fide #1 wide receiver when he's fully healthy and engaged, which I still think at this point is the case. Obviously, he missed some time with the suspension this past year, had the injury issues in 2021, but DeAndre Hopkins is a flat-out superstar, and I'm all in on trading for him. I would let Juju walk if that meant getting DeAndre Hopkins. Trade your 63rd pick to get him. I mean, you just think about the playmakers on this offense with Mahomes at quarterback, D-Hop at receiver, Kelsey at tight end, Pacheco out of the backfield, probably Jarrett McKinnon as well, Tony, Sky Moore, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. It just, the list goes on and on. I mean, you add DeAndre Hopkins to what you already have, good luck to defensive coordinators around the National Football League. Next up is another receiver, a little lesser of an option, but a player I'd be interested in, and that is Brandin Cooks from the Houston Texans. His trade request is still valid according to reports, like he still would like to get traded by Houston this offseason. Their new head coach, D'Amico Ryan, said he spoke with Cooks, said he'd like to work with them, but we'll see what happens there. I still think he gets moved probably this offseason. Had a down year in Houston. They had a funky season where, you know, they kind of ended up tanking and then not tanking, and their coach gets fired. Cooks thought he was going to get traded, then he didn't. Missed a game. There was all kinds of stuff going on. But he's still a really, really good player. Now, he's not a #1, but a lot of people would say that Juju wasn't a true #1 either, but, you know, had 900-plus yards in this offense. I think Brandin Cooks could certainly do something similar, albeit a different style, a little bit smaller, more of a kind of not gadget guy, but he's a 5'10 receiver, whereas Juju's 6'2, more of a possession guy. Cooks has more speed, quickness, some of the underneath stuff, and can occasionally stretch the field as well. I'm just really fascinated to see what Brett Veach does at this wide receiver position. Now, subscribe to the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. If you love the Chiefs, if you want daily videos, we're the channel for you. Hit that sub button, turn on your notifications, and a lot of our other channels don't know this. We're doing a subscriber competition this week, so hit that sub button. Let's win here on the Chiefs Report. Okay, let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Jalen Ramsey, the Rams cornerback, who has been connected to a lot of trade buzz. And this time last year, I'd be like, hell yes, no doubt about it. Reports are that the Rams are shopping Ramsey. I think they want to get a little bit of draft capital back for this year, get some young talent in there while still trying to stay in win-now mode with guys like Matthew Stafford and Aaron Donald coming back, but Ramsey could fetch them a decent haul in a trade. Now, Jalen Ramsey didn't have his best year last year, certainly gave up, decent yards and touchdowns here. Still had 4 picks, 18 breakups. Those are good statistics. And, there's a report out there, too, that, he just wasn't fully locked in this year, because the other idea as well is he's starting to be on the wrong side of age for a cornerback in the NFL, right? Because we all know corners in the NFL, eventually, once they start to slip, they don't get back. I don't think that's necessarily the case with Ramsey, but I also, on the flip side, look at this cornerback room, and I'm like, you're 4 deep right now. Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, L'Jarius Sneed, and Josh Williams are 4 starting corners. Like, if you trade for Jalen Ramsey, I assume that means you're moving L'Jarius Sneed or something like that. Like, I think I would pass here. I think your room's good enough. I think Ramsey's too pricey because his cap hit over the next few years is $17+ million each year. And I just don't think you need it because you've got a good cornerback group right now. So I think I would pass on Ramsey. He's a big name that's out there. You could go after him, but I would go in a different direction and at a different position if I was Brett Veach. Would you trade for Jalen Ramsey? Let me know. Make the call. Type T for trade or P for pass. I would pass on Ramsey, but I certainly understand the appeal of having a guy that when fully locked in and healthy, a top 5 corner in this league. Now, St. Patrick's Day is just around the corner, and if you want to rep Chiefs green gear, got a few different shirts available for you guys at chatsports.com/ChiefsGreen. Also got some socks if you really want to get groovy with it as well. Chatsports.com/ChiefsGreen. Might get my wife some of these socks so she can rock those also. So check the comments, check the description. Chiefs St. Patty's Day gear available at chatsports.com/ChiefsGreen. All right, a couple more players to look at here. Danielle Hunter, the edge out of Minnesota. We've talked about him in the past. If you're a new subscriber, you probably haven't heard me talk about him, but he's been connected to trades before, and I think there's a chance the Vikings could trade him. I talked to our Vikings host, Patrick Seatman. He thinks that Minnesota could move on from Hunter this year, and he had a great year. 10.5 sacks, had a forced fumble, 70 pressures. He's really, really good coming off the edge, and I think he's attainable for a second-round pick. I don't think he'd necessarily go for a first, but he's been one of the more underrated pass rushers in the league for a few years now, and there's some uncertainty on that defensive line. What happens with Frank Clark? Do you bring back Carlos Dunlap, who's a veteran free agent? So certainly got to make some decisions there as well. Danielle Hunter on a trade could be an option to help fill those voids. And then Cameron Jordan, who was connected to the Chiefs at the NFL trade deadline as well. I'll go ahead and mention him again here too. He's getting older, so the Saints could, potentially look to move him, kind of maximize his value at this point as he is aging at this point in his career. I like Cam Jordan. He's a good player. He's a good locker room guy to have as well, a leader that he's been in New Orleans for a long, long time. And, looking at this defensive line, like I mentioned, with the uncertainty around Clark, who's got a huge cap hit, they got to figure that out. Is Carl Loftus ready to be a true number 1 edge rusher? I liked what he did this year, but that's certainly taken another step. Michael Dana's a good rotation guy, but you're certainly at minimum going to need more depth there, and at maximum maybe a new starter. So we'll have to see how that plays out. So pick an edge. Type DH for Danielle Hunter or CJ for Cameron Jordan. Pick an edge rusher that you would like to see the Chiefs trade for and drop his name in the comments. If there's someone else at edge, then that certainly works as well. Appreciate you guys for watching today's edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Our goal is to bring you guys videos every single day, and we just about do that here. We might miss a day here and there, but that's what we try to do. So best way you can help support us is by hitting that subscribe button and tuning into our videos. That way we can continue to grow, reach out to more Chiefs fans, and hopefully bring you guys the best content as possible. I'm Harrison Graham signing off. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you guys soon.